Weekly Wednesday wrap-up, first week of January, take one. Hey everybody, I'm Rebecca Gordon.
I'm Sylvia Gordon.
And I'm Dick Gordon.
And on this episode, we have a special treat for you. Sylvia's gonna interview Dad and find out all of the awesome insurance secrets he has. I have a call with Anthem, so Dad's gonna take my position. So, good selling everybody. You're on, Dad.
Well, thank you, Rebecca. I'm glad to share all of my secrets on how to be successful in the insurance business. It's sell, sell, sell. Matter of fact, that's a great video for those of you that haven't seen it yet. I'm plugging it because I'm hoping to get a contract from how great it is. But that was my concern when I got into this business. How do I guarantee myself to be successful? And my boss said, if you make 15 presentations a week, week after week, you'll be very successful in the insurance business. I said, well, most people fail. He says, yeah, but most people won't make 15 presentations a week. Well, I did. I did every week for 5 years. And the only week out of a month that I didn't make 15 presentations, I spent recruiting new agents to get in the downline of the agency that I was attempting to build. And when you recruit and you build an agency, you've got to plan on a lot of them not making it because they won't make those 15 presentations. A lot of them will make 4 or 5 and you expect to sell each one of them, but it's a numbers game. And over the years, we've built a big agency by recruiting and inspiring them through contests and rewards and what have you to make those 15 presentations a week. That's my secrets. It didn't take long to let those out of the bag.
So Dad, there used to be, when I first started, there were lots and lots of FMOs, and it's really dwindled down to a very small group. What do you think has been the secret to our success that we've not only survived, but we've thrived?
Well, I didn't know what an FMO was until I asked one of the insurance companies just exactly what does that stand for. They said a field marketing office, which is located in the field where you're located in Noblesville. And just think of it as an office down the hallway from our headquarters in Chicago. And I said, all right, that's a good explanation. But I look back and I look at what made us successful is that I just got done looking at our P&L for the year through November. And last year, I said we had 200 companies we did business with. I just counted the companies up that we had commissions from, and they were about 220 companies. Now, this is something that I didn't particularly believe in, having this many companies, because my brain's not big enough to understand.
We fought over it.
But Sylvia, she would contract with any company that called on us that had somebody in the field that wanted to buy from us. And I got to figuring up the commissions from all these odd and end companies. And my goodness, it's enough to pay the overhead of an agency. I would give that a lot of credit. A lot of companies that I know and a lot of FMs, I know they have all their energy on life insurance or all their energy on annuities or all their energy on senior. I thought, we're smart enough to at least take care of 4 things: annuities, life insurance, under 65 and over. And I found out we were smart enough, Sylvia and my kids were smart enough to do more than that.
Well, and we used to fight about that because when you trained me, you said, I want you to have a core carrier that you know everything about. And like I remember back in the day when we had Banner was our core term. I knew 10, 15, 20, 30 year. I knew the underwriting. I knew the comps. I knew everything. And you said you wanted us to do that with any carrier that we have. Well, if we have more than 4 carriers, you can't do it. You don't have the brain space.
Well, I figured if I only had the brain capacity to just figure out and know everything about a few companies, that everybody else would have that same brain capacity. But I was wrong. A lot of these young marketers, they're smart like Sylvia. and they can understand. The basic thing in selling insurance, you just plug in a different product and you use the same sales skills on everything you're talking about. You question your prospect till you find out what his needs are, and then you proceed to fill those needs. And it's a different attitude, different world. There you got more of my secrets. I got them from Sylvia.
Well, that's one of the things that we get a lot of agencies. They're like, I'm only going to do this. I'm doing well in this, and I'm only going to do this. And you can do so much better if you're able to say yes to more of your prospects that are asking you. That's how we got in the senior business. You didn't want to do senior. You wanted to do life. You loved life. But people kept asking you for health insurance, and they kept asking you and we just slowly we wanted to say yes.
Yeah, I wanted to get in the senior business when I had somebody to run the senior division, and I had nobody to run it, so I got my wife in it. And she said she didn't know anything about it, and I said, well, just call the home office every time you got a question you can't answer. Next thing you know, we built a big business and a senior business. So it just takes a little courage in the first step and get with it.
I think courage is the biggest thing for any entrepreneur, to get in business and then to have the courage to get out of your comfort zone to keep growing, because you're definitely out of your comfort zone in all these other products. You know, I don't even know all the stuff we're doing anymore.
I don't either.
Right. What is your greatest accomplishment in this business?
Greatest accomplishment in the brokerage business I'm awfully proud to go into our home office building here in Noblesville and see all the plaques and trophies. I get a good feeling about winning and my goal was always to be in the top 10, and then my goal was to be in the top 5. And to me, that's an accomplishment. If you can't be near the top, you haven't accomplished anything. And the tougher the competition, the tougher you got to get your organization, and you have to be inspired. And I would say winning all the trophies and winning all the trips. I've been all over the world, basically, at the expense of insurance companies. And after I found out that I was getting $10.99 for it, I thought, well, I was paying for them, but didn't know it.
So that's your greatest accomplishment?
Well, I think so.
Getting on the leaderboards for all the companies?
Well, I got 4 kids working for us in this business, and I think it's quite an accomplishment to be able to have 4 kids working together and to win all them awards and trophies. To me, that is a great accomplishment.
And that's another thing we get constantly is how can your family all work together? There's 13 of us, I'm counting, that all work together. How do you guys do that? Because so many families can't. Is there any secret sauce?
The secret sauce. I know so many parents that promise their kids what they're going to give them when they retire. I don't like that philosophy because things change, and a lot of times it don't work out that way. And the kids that worked hard got the same amount of equity in whatever the business was as the kids that didn't work hard. I got my kids involved with a percentage of ownership 20-some years ago, 25 years ago. And that was no doubt the secret. They shared in the profits right off of the bat. And they didn't work 8 hours a day. They worked 12, 14 hours a day. And they were just as enthused about building it as I was. That is the secret right there.
Well, thank you, Dad, for joining us. This will air right before my birthday, so thank you for being a great dad for 55 years. If you would like to tell briefly the story of when I was born, I love to hear this every year.
Well, Sylvia was born in Greenville, Ohio. I was in the chicken business, and we had 30,000 chickens in a building real close to my house where I lived. And the guy that took care of them, I'd let him off every Sunday once a month, and I would do the work. Well, this particular Sunday, I was doing the work, and it was 24 below zero in Greenville, Ohio. My wife got the call to go to the hospital. Sylvia was being born, and all the chicken water fountains had froze. And if the water fountains aren't thawed out within, I think, 6 hours, they'll go out of production. Here, I got my wife in the hospital, and I got a little baby girl being born, and I got 30,000 chickens that can't get any water, and I got the water fountains thawed out by pouring buckets of hot water down those, they were caged layers. And that was a very exciting day. I'll never forget it. And look what a wonderful, wonderful daughter I got. She loves chickens to this day.
Thank you guys for joining us, and thank you for working with me, my dad, and our whole family at Gordon Marketing.